Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eni from University of Mataram. I'm representing my team. Our research title is Saving Forests and Javan Lutung in the Bromo Tengger Semeru National Park, a SWOT analysis for a place-based pedagogy. So we were interested in this because these species can only be found in the island of Java, Bali, and Lombok. We cannot find them anywhere else, and they are listed as vulnerable, and they're continuing facing threats. So we need to develop conservation strategies. We see an opportunity to teach about this at schools. So with the distance learning policy, we think that this is a good opportunity for the teachers and the students to implement place-based pedagogy. So the objective of our study was to analyze strategies for forest and Javan Lutung conservation through a place-based pedagogy for grade 6 and 3rd in primary schools based on K-13 curriculum. These are the two books that are mostly relevant to the issues of natural conservation. So for the methods, before we make recommendations, we collected data on stakeholders' perceptions. We interviewed local people, the national park staffs and schools, and we collected data on Javan Lutung population through survey. We need to know where to find the Javan Lutung. That's why we undertook this population survey, because if you want to implement place-based pedagogy, we need to know where we can find them. And then we conducted a review on the two books that I've mentioned earlier. We then used those information to develop, to conduct SWOT analysis and develop recommendations for place-based pedagogy. So the result shows that most of our respondents perceive that Javan Lutung's population trend is decreasing, and that conservation effort is essential to be undertaken, and they don't perceive this as a dangerous species. For whether it should be taught in school, 93% of them said yes. Likewise, with the interviews with the teachers and the staffs, they all agreed. From the population survey of Javan Lutung, we identified 20 species of vegetations that the primates use for their diets and 3 vegetations for their cover. We found that they can be found in various resorts, and also in Perhutani, so it's quite easy to find them. And we located 2 potential sites to be developed for educational activities or place-based pedagogy based on Javan Lutung's distribution, topography, and distance from the entrance. This is the result of the SWOT analysis. So the strength is existing thematic book already contains loving and saving nature, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can elaborate on already existing book. So the topic about Javan Lutung and forest function can be incorporated. For example, in this 3rd grade book, making chicken can be replaced with making Javan Lutung's doll, for example. And the weakness is that the students don't have the materials for learning activity, and the teachers do not have adequate knowledge on this topic. This is another example from 6th grade book where they mention about Tengger Highland. They mention about species that needs to be protected. They mention about national park, but this is all far from their place. This one is very close, like Tengger. But there's no mention of Javan Lutung, or there's no mention of Bromo Tengger Semeru National Park. So we see that here there's a huge opportunity to develop a place-based pedagogy based on this material. The opportunities is that schools and local people have shown their favorability towards this idea, and there are some individuals that are interested in this issue. For example, this one and this one, they made a film about it, they made posters about it. And the threats primary school can easily get lost, and parents may not agree, and risks associated with COVID-19 persists. So our strategy is that loving and saving plants and animals are already taught in grade 3 and grade 6. Students can learn this thing by studying the forest in Javan Lutung around the students' village. How do they learn about it? We need to develop activity book or learning materials. Who is going to develop that? We can collaborate with university students where they can make their individual project to support place-based pedagogy during the pandemic, and they can claim that as their activity for Merdeka Belajar. And then the national park, they can map primary students living in the villages around the national park, and they can develop schedule. And the last strategy is that this approach can be led and can be piloted by the NGO there and the national park in collaboration with the teacher. This is an example of an activity book for Owa Jawa. This is a different species. This is endangered. We can make something similar, and after that we can develop a memorandum of understanding on or agreement with the schools to implement this place-based pedagogy. So that's from us. We would like to thank our donors for their financial support, the Rafford Foundations. We'd like to thank the National Park for their kind support, and the local people and school teachers around the National Park. We would also like to thank you for your kind attentions, and good morning.